Welcome to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast, where world-changing spiritual entrepreneurs come to deeply awaken the power within to bring forth their greatest purpose, to create massive awakened impact for millions of souls around the planet, while enjoying being in tune with all life and real wealth in all aspects of their lives. I'm your host, Daniel John Hanneman. And welcome everybody to another Spiritual Rockstar Podcast show. I'm so grateful to share with you today about how to enjoy becoming uncomfortable. For the longest time, we've heard your growth is outside your comfort zone. It's probably gotta be right up there. If it's not the number one idea in the personal growth industry, it's right up there, right? It's one of the most common ideas. And I'm often looking for the unique ideas and things. So often I don't like to talk about such, topics because they're not too uncomfortable to talk about, because it's the usual thing. It's my comfort zone to talk about being outside the comfort zone. But I wanted to talk about it today because in the spiritual rock star kind of purview, all you spiritual folks and spiritual entrepreneurs, when you're looking at living in a connected space and doing what you love, doing your passion, enjoying what from a place of ease and abundance, everything, and being super present and connected, the idea of becoming uncomfortable sometimes seems like could be the wrong direction to go, actually, even though we have this other idea of going outside your comfort zone. Because in spiritual circles, we say, go with your bliss, go with your joy, just do what you enjoy. And in that space, it doesn't seem like anything's too uncomfortable. For me today, anyway, for the most part, there isn't a huge uncomfortability in doing this show, but there's a slight little bit there, because that happens. That happens when you're diving into certain materials, or, I try to pick materials increasingly now that are going to help me dig in more inside myself, so that the unconscious energy inside me can become even more connected and awakened ultimately. And so this is where, just in terms of having an approach and kind of a protocol around becoming uncomfortable, is to look at it through a new lens. I don't believe the personal growth industry has a completely right necessary, like, just if you're uncomfortable, then that means it's good, right? That wouldn't make sense. So I feel uncomfortable because I'm not enjoying being in this relationship. Well, there's a lot of growth there in that relationship, but it doesn't mean you should stay in the relationship, right? So there's a lot of different scenarios where you could feel uncomfortable, could feel very uncomfortable doing a job you hate. And yes, there's a lot to learn in it, but it doesn't mean you stay with, it's uncomfortable. It's getting more comfortable. Maybe I should stay forever, right? So I always like to, my mind always likes to look at these things and break them down and look at, phrases and things that point to a truth, and then look at like where our clever minds, my clever mind, could find where it's not true, right? And sometimes it's helpful, because sometimes it helps to realize just kind of going with these meta programs of just being outside your comfort zone doesn't necessarily make sense, right? Just to do it, because there's somehow going to be growth with that. But when we allow ourselves to realize that at the same time, yes, there's a lot of things we can do to bring a lot of good in the world from our bliss and our joy and our passion. And maybe even some people say that's all they do, that they never feel uncomfortable. Maybe that's true for some people. What I have found on my path is there's a huge opportunity for us to see new growth, not just sort of on the same pattern of growth, but to go into new growth, not just in outward levels, like I got more friends, or I have my soulmate now, or I have more money, or whatever, or new successful businesses, but there's more inner growth to explore by being willing to be uncomfortable. So if you're a great Zen master and you're really good at being just present with whatever comes up, I always say, bring me the person that says they're completely enlightened, never disturbed, and I will find a way to get them into a disturbed place, because the discomfort does lie within them somewhere. I've never met anybody that, even the most enlightened people, I have not seen where it hasn't been true that they don't have discomfort somewhere inside their being. Now, they might be sort of comfortable with their discomfort, but it lives inside of them. So where are those spaces inside you? With growing my business in the first place, for example, I was very uncomfortable, but I had already taken on the idea when I started getting in business and started growing business. I should put it that way, because I'm not even in the same business really exactly than when I started in. Started off with the Blockbuster Your Path, helping people to live their passions and get healing, to align with their passions, to get started. Still sort of do the same thing, but it's refined itself. And I had Academy for Invincible Healers is the next focus, helping people learn to harness their gifts and then get new clients through using energy scans, diagnosing people's energies, and serving them through energy scans, energy scan healing. So did that for years, and multi six-figure business for years with a bunch of team members, helping out and being part of a small but thriving community. And we did bring energy scanning to hundreds of people to learn how to do it at least, and if not more than that, and all the different methods I brought, ways I brought it out. And then we also have all the people that have been impacted with energy scan, that is tuning in deeply to people's chakra systems and their soul and maybe their past lives and all that sort of stuff. And then doing coaching and healing and processes, et cetera, with them, coming off from that space and continuing to work with them in that way as well. So many lives have been impacted, through something as amazing, but as simple as like teaching that to people, like a lot of people. And there's more to it than that, but just to give you an idea. So going into that, I was pretty comfortable with doing that part of it. So, and I think the problem I ran into is the business eventually didn't grow. And I think there was reasons why, but I wasn't feeling uncomfortable at all, like not in a deep way, right? Like we all get uncomfortable with things. So it's not completely true to say I was uncomfortable at all. I should take that back a little bit, but I'm saying, like, generally speaking, I wasn't like hugely uncomfortable. That was probably one of the most comfortable times of my life. Like if things were thriving, I was having fun. And yes, there's always challenges. But the more I had gotten so comfortable with being uncomfortable that it wasn't an issue, but there was a new uncomfortability that I was, getting into. So to make I had gotten comfortable. Let me just say this: I got comfortable with like enrollment conversations and asking for the sale and asking for bigger sales then, and so to speak, or asking people to take that step forward to say yes to whatever the opportunity was. And I got really fierce with that and really connected with it, and then it became easier and easier and easier. Until it wasn't uncomfortable anymore. Eventually it wasn't uncomfortable, but then I did run into other things. I wasn't comfortable with staying in a business that, as great as it wasn't continuing to grow, number one. It was a spiritual impulse to just end that particular business, and I started Your Sacred Purpose. So Your Sacred Purpose led gone through different things. I got into men's stuff and did a men's summit, and that was uncomfortable because I always had kind of not wanted to focus on the masculine side of my energy and men. I wanted to kind of not look there.
Do you want to meditate and make money? Let it be simple. Let it be easy. Let it be fun. Go to yoursacredpurpose.com and get your free Meditate, Make Money meditation today.
But by looking there for myself and then hosting, men to come on to talk about masculinity and enlightened masculinity versus toxic, etc., is powerful. And then I was uncomfortable because I started thinking about maybe working with men at that time, as with men's work, so to speak, and it just wasn't connecting. It wasn't working. Then I got into other things. So I was really kind of trying to find my way, but everything has been around, really with all my work, it's all around awakening. It's all around awakening, and then what are the results on the other side? So, eventually got more into, which I had always been doing, but more the business coaching, and then, high level, very high level one-to-one, coaching with people, and just ultimately settled into that as the model, as far as like what my offers are and how I serve my clients. And that was after doing, a lot of groups for a long time. So that had some uncomfortability in it to a degree, because I hadn't been doing so many one-to-ones in the past. So in some ways it was uncomfortable, and definitely it was uncomfortable. Like my spiritual, journey has been uncomfortable. There's times I'm very comfortable with just being positive, high vibe, but then to let go of that and then go into the deeper space and not, even try to ramp up my energy like I used to, that was uncomfortable, because I wasn't used to just trusting being in the presence. So that became something that was a new growth for me. So I could go on and on, different things we all encounter in our relationships, etc. So maybe you're thinking yourself where you've become really comfortable, and maybe you even had a lot of success, and then where you became uncomfortable, and places where you became uncomfortable, and there was growth and it's giving you momentum, etc. And as of the time of this recording, I'm doing some things in my business that are making me it's just a feeling. I mean, it's not like nothing bad is happening to me. I don't have someone like attacking me, physically or something, or I'm gonna starve or or whatever, some crazy, stressor. It's just internally I feel this sense of deep uncomfortability, and it's like, oh, okay, so there's something to be more present with. Okay, I'm feeling this, but what is that really? And so the way I can enjoy it is I always know that even when it's been in blips, when I feel this sense of discomfort that's strong, it often means like the other side of it is going to be filled with massive expansion, massive growth. And, in a business sense, it can end up meaning, of course, new sales opportunities. So how can you get to enjoy being uncomfortable is this, it's part of it simple, like just realizing the places you're not willing to go to inside yourself, and therefore there's actions that are behind that almost always eventually, that we may feel extremely uncomfortable. And I think spiritual people tend to take that to mean like, oh, personal growth, screw that. I'm just going to be connected with source. I'm just follow my intuition, and that's all that matters. Let's go with the ease, the joy, the flow, the lightness, and that's it. But there are things that come up and you're being kind of pointed in a direction. You're like, yeah, I probably should go in that direction. Oh my God, feeling really uncomfortable. How could I approach this in a way that's extremely comfortable for me, right? Because our physiology looks for us to be safe and comfortable, and then we take that as kind of the correct path. So what's the funnest, most joyful? And I talk about this. What's the fun, joyful path? And there's always that. We're always looking for that. But there's also, we're looking for where you're feeling really uncomfortable. And that there's a lot of transformational power in it for you, and and perhaps for others to go in a certain direction in your business to help more people, create more impact, more awakening, more whatever, more good in the world. And so realizing when you feel that you're helping to burst through your own sense of resistance and limits, and maybe some sabotage that you've been doing yourself, like this, getting past that sabotaging resistance, and really getting in a different relationship with the sense of feeling uncomfortable, rather than being like, oh, I don't want to feel this discomfort, or yeah, I don't enjoy it. Well, whether you enjoy it or not is really, we tend, when we're feeling comfortable, we tend to say we're having a better time often overall, but you can be very comfortable doing very negative things for your vibe overall, right? You're, like very comfortable eating this cake. I'm very comfortable sitting on the couch all day. I'm very comfortable. I'm actually really happy. And then when your body isn't working well, it's stiff, it's sore, it doesn't move well, over a course of time, or your blood sugar's through the roof, you're anxious, you gain extra adipose tissue or whatever you want to call it. Your health isn't good. Your metabolic flexibility goes down. Like I could get into all the health aspects of with the cake, but you run into issues. But you were really happy, and you're happy to do it again and again every day. Every day, it's your joy to do it. But if you look at your deeper joy, you'll probably say, yeah, it's not my deepest joy though, right? We want to go for our deep joy. And so to enjoy being uncomfortable is like, if I'm feeling really uncomfortable right now, there's something that's going to expand and flow through this. It's going to get into a deeper flow. And I'm celebrating in advance that new flow, right? And so in that way, even when you're extremely uncomfortable, you have an opportunity at least to enjoy that sense of discomfort. And yes, there are energetic processes that we can bring to that sense of discomfort. So as the feelings come up, let's say it involved an action. Okay, I've got to take this action. And you feel very uncomfortable. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this. I don't feel safe. I'm going to get rejected, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, like for me, for example, with marketing, or sometimes I put out, like today I put out a marketing message and someone, I don't know if they were innocent in their comment or not, but they were like, well, that's kind of funny or whatever. And it wasn't meant to be funny. It was kind of like, it almost sounded like they were making fun of the marketing message. And I'm like, okay, well, it's I'm glad you're having a good time with it. Kind of is what I said. And hey, how you doing? It's somebody I know. So I'm like, hey, how you doing? And just being present with what's coming up rather than, wow, maybe they're being triggered in some sort of way by the marketing. Now, okay, maybe, oh my God, I shouldn't have put that post out there, right? Or something like that. But to stand behind like what you put out there, like is a way of like, I'm enjoying being edgy. I'm enjoying putting something a little edgier out there right now, like for an example. So where are you avoiding doing something that's more edgy or, will help make you feel really uncomfortable, but it's going to help you to break through. And then when you feel that energy, it's like, whatever, however it comes through for you, where that tension shows up for you is just, okay, so you can go there right now. So what are you considering? You're like, oh, I should totally do this thing. I should totally write that book. I should totally offer that, $30,000 program or whatever. When I say, if I were to say to you, when you're like, well, no, I'm comfortable doing that when I'm ready for it, right? Okay, what if I say, you could be ready today? Now let's go, let's do it. Offer it today. Start offering it right now, because the sooner you offer it, the sooner you're going to start landing those 30K offers. I'm not ready. Okay. But the faster you offer it, the more you offer it, the quicker you're going to get the results. No, I don't know. Let me check with my guides. But the faster you offer it, the quicker you already got your guide. Your guidance gave you the idea to do it, right? Where else did it come from? Yeah, but they're telling me it's not time. Really? Or is that just your fear saying like, I don't want to do it because I'm really afraid about, the perceived value and what people think and who can afford it, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Maybe you're onto something. Okay. And eventually you have to break down that resistance. So I'm closing my eyes, just tuning into all this stuff if you're seeing me on video. And it's just, you start realizing like this idea of intuition sometimes is just a delay tactic. And by being willing to feel extremely uncomfortable, you're going to have an extremely great breakthrough. And I've talked about this probably here on this podcast a number of times, but I always remember one of my clients that signed up at a live event. I had to, kind of really I know in the spiritual circle, it's like, don't force anything, blah, blah, blah. Like that's the usual idea anyway. It's like, I was so clear this person needed to join the program I was offering, and I wouldn't let them off the hook. And so eventually, I'll just say I felt like I almost forced them to sign up. I mean, obviously they just did it and they knew it was the right choice, but they were extraordinarily uncomfortable with it and even had a panic attack afterwards. Oh my God, how could that be good for them? They're totally not in their flow. But then the results were quantum, they uh, went from nothing and on drugs and welfare and all that to generating a six-figure business, and it's plus a six-figure plus business and much more, that generated after that. So it all started with that one decision. It was a genesis for him in terms of really breaking through. So if I hadn't showed up, if I had been like, okay, well, you're too uncomfortable, well, we should back off. But by doubling down, actually, it created the breakthrough that otherwise may have taken a lot longer to happen, if ever. Who knows? I mean, we don't know. We don't know now, but we know what happened on the other side of that discomfort. So I've seen it again and again for other people when they're willing to be uncomfortable. And pretty soon, like what happens is, like with me feeling uncomfortable with some of the things I'm doing right now, what's coming up for me is, oh my God, the fearful energy is sort of around, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, this has gotta be it. Like, cause this has gotta be like this next level for me, because otherwise I wouldn't be feeling this way. Because there's nothing wrong with what I'm doing. Like, I'm not inherently, like, I'm not like planning to rob a bank or something. It's just marketing. It's just that there's nothing sleazy or weird about it. It really, at all. And, but it's extremely uncomfortable what the offer is and what I'm presenting, even though it's amazing, it's powerful, it's potent, it's proven stuff. So there should be no reason why I should feel that way logically. But when this comes up, it means something huge is coming through it that I'm not even totally clear on what it is yet. And it's okay. And it's okay that I don't know. In fact, you learn to become excited for the unknown, right? Because usually that's the thing. It's like when I'm feeling uncomfortable, it's because I'm uncertain of what the future is. And if I'm uncertain, I'm afraid. And I'm afraid, that means it could be bad. And I want to protect bad. So then we don't do it, right? So it's like, no, it's very uncomfortable. I sense there's a lot of gain in it. I'm going to feel extremely uncomfortable. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to enjoy it. My mind might not think I'm enjoying it in the moment to make that decision, but it's going to change my life. I'm taking my power back from my old patterns that just want to do the same old stuff. And I'm deciding that I'm going to enjoy breaking through these old patterns to experience something far greater, to actually fulfill more of my potential, to fulfill my purpose. And so that's the only way that I've had the success that I've had in my life, is to take those steps, like the deeper success, not the fleeting success that, you're horsing around and just kind of screwing around, having fun, and success comes. But long-term success, continued success, and more growth is going to eventually require you to experience a level of greater discomfort often, almost every single time, maybe. But often, again and again, that's going to be a theme. And can you get to a place where you don't feel that anymore? Well, maybe, but who cares? Like, if that happens, it happens. It's not something to strive for, because if you keep striving for it, what it means is you're actively trying to avoid not feeling uncomfortable, right? So we want to enjoy it, even if it's a mental construct at first. Like, I'm enjoying this. Oh my God, I'm freaking out. I'm having a panic attack, but I'm enjoying this. But as you get more connected with your higher self while you're going through these motions of feelings, you can actually enjoy it. Because when you get connected, like, let's say you take one of those fearful moments from the past when you made a big leap, you're freaking out. If you feel that feeling right now, and maybe it turned out well that you took that leap, or maybe it didn't, but you there was a lot of potential in the decision you were making at the time. And hopefully you maybe pick one that actually did lead to a big breakthrough. You're like, that's it. No, I'm doing this. Okay. Feel that discomfort. And knowing at that time, maybe you weren't totally, if you're like most people, at least you weren't totally certain it would work out. Like I'm always underneath totally certain things will work out almost most all the time. I wouldn't say all the time, but I'll pull back on that and say most all the time. Despite the fear underneath, I know like, no, this is going to work. This is going to happen. But let's say, okay, so just getting back to that moment where you made that big decision. You're going to make this big decision. I'm going to do this. I'm going to leave this person and this relationship that meant everything to me, or I'm going to leave this job and start this business, or I'm going to hire this coach, or whatever it might be. I mean, think about that moment. Think about how uncomfortable you were, even in maybe you even doubted it. Maybe you didn't, but maybe part of you really doubted. Maybe I should stay with him. Maybe I shouldn't go. Maybe, right? Just yeah, feel that feeling and notice where it shows up. Maybe in your energy, your body, maybe not be real strong, but magnify it a bit, get a little stronger and stronger, come stronger for you, so you can get in contact with that feeling of feeling uncomfortable again. And embrace that. Just be like, yes, I'm willing to feel this discomfort. Let the fire turn up some more, the heat turn up some more on that. Just keep feeling it. And maybe what you can do right now is like, okay, this feeling is familiar to me because I experienced it right there. Now, coming from that energy, what does that energy actually want to do for me right now today? Like, even though, okay, it's still within you, right? So like, now what does it want to do? What new choice does it want to make in your life? What is it? Maybe it's very bottom line, maybe it's not, but probably a little more bottom line and decisive, or totally that way. And just notice that, like how definitive it's like this, let's choose this, whatever it is. And then just realize how much more ease and joy there's going to be by making that decision. At first, it may feel difficult, but there'll be more ease and joy because you're making the decision. And then just imagine you could taste the fruits of making this decision with full trust that it's paying off. And then you don't even know all the ways it'll pay off, but it's like you just get that yummy feeling. You know what a yummy feeling, or maybe a taste in your mouth is easier. It's like, yeah, I love that. I'm making that choice. Yeah. Even that one sense, right? Just even one sense connects you. You could feel that enjoyment. Now your brain and your physiology could be more on board. It'd be like, yeah, okay. See, it is yummy. I want yummy. I want to do this. It's yummy. And just relax into presence. Maybe notice your higher self connected, like 18 feet above your head, 12 feet above your head, wherever you perceive like there's a ball of energy we would call your higher self. Just notice how it's having a good time. It's just like, it's like playing around, or it's just like smiling, like, everything's great. And then it's looking down at you right now, and this choice you're making, it's just like, yeah, that sounds good. It sounds fun. You let that energy of fun from your higher self to drop into your body, maybe right directly into where you don't feel uncomfortable. And then keep feeling discomfort. I want that to be yummy. Just let it drop in, that sense of fun. Mix it with the discomfort. The fun of playful self, your higher self, mixing with the uncomfortability. You go, mix them together. Feel like you're just moving forward, like it's already done. And you're moving to the other side of this energy, and you're celebrating in advance all the good things that are coming in your life. You might get a whiff of what those things are. And if you notice them, you just go ahead and say yes to them. Yes, yes. Visualize them, bring them closer, brighter, clearer, all that stuff. Oh yeah, I'm gonna enjoy that in my life. Yes, yes, yes. Bringing my hands up and then turning the fists, bringing it down. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, say yes. Keep imagining into the future that there's even more uncomfortable places where you're going to go, and how terrified you are, and yet you sense this is where I'm going to want to go next. Even my next choice and my next choice. And it's a way of being. I continue to allow myself to become uncomfortable, continue to expand, get that yummy feeling again. It's playful, it's fun at the same time. Mix it with the discomfort. All the opportunities that brings for you and others. Yeah, the celebration that you have together with your loved ones, friends, colleagues. And just notice perhaps there's a peace that's settling in more and more, because you've made the choice already and you're already making these decisions. Just give thanks for it in advance, infinite gratitude and enjoyment of all of it. And so it is. Amen. All right. So if you want to open your eyes, come back at your own pace, it's fine. If you're not ready for what I have to say next, you can just hit pause on your recording. So yeah, hopefully you felt that, you felt the shifts. I know, like, I was literally doing it for myself at the same time, because I'm in motion, I'm live, I'm all the way live. I'm all the way live with it. So I got to experience a shift myself within that, as I'm guiding myself and you and everybody listening into it. So, like, here's the opportunity, guys. We get to see a shift in our energy, shift in ourselves, shift in what's available to us and what's already happening, and then we get to see a shift then as well. Ultimately, it gets reflected in how we see our world and some real world things that happen. Knowing that the illusion, the split mind will always find, like, no, but nothing's changed. It's constant story. Nothing's changed. It always, split mind will always say that, by the way. So it'll never find heaven on earth. It'll never perceive we've ever got there. It'll never see that. But your enlightened mind sees it everywhere, and it's now. All right, folks. So I'm so grateful to share with you, and hope you enjoyed this podcast episode. If you did, like it, subscribe, share it with your friends, your family, whoever, your colleagues, etc. Tell them all about it. Tell them about the breakthroughs you're experiencing, the new commitments you're making as a result of this process. Let's share with the world and take it to the next level and rock it out. So, as I always say at the end of the show, keep on tuning in. We'll keep on rocking it here at Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Till next time, everyone. The Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Stay tuned for our next upcoming new episodes each Wednesday and Saturday. Please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review to help us to serve you best. As a reminder, you can get your free Meditate and Make Money meditation at www.yoursacredpurpose.com to rock your sacred purpose. Goodbye for now, everybody.